Have you ever sat alone in your room, staring at the ceiling, and quietly whispered to yourself, "Something has to change. I can't keep living like this"? That moment, raw, uncomfortable, and almost painful, is what I call the awakening. It's when you realize that the life you're living doesn't match the life you dream about. Most people feel this in silence. In the United States, millions wake up every Monday, slam the alarm clock, and drag themselves to jobs they hate. They commute for hours, sit in cubicles under fluorescent lights, and scroll social media at night just to escape the emptiness. Deep down, they know they're stuck. And here's the truth. The person you are right now may not be capable of taking you to the life you want. That's not an insult. It's reality. Imagine you're a caterpillar. You cannot fly as you are. To become a butterfly, something drastic has to happen. The caterpillar must literally dissolve inside its cocoon, destroy itself, so it can rebuild into something entirely new. Humans are the same. The you of today may need to be destroyed in order to give birth to the you of tomorrow. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. What part of you needs to die so the better version of you can be born? Let's talk about comfort. Comfort seems innocent. Soft bed, junk food, endless scrolling, Netflix autoplay, DoorDash at your fingertips. But here's the truth. Comfort is a cage that keeps lions from hunting. Look at American culture today. We are drowning in convenience. One click, and anything you want arrives at your door. One swipe, and you're entertained for hours. But here's the catch. Comfort kills hunger. A Navy SEAL once said, "Most people will never know how much of their potential is locked inside comfort zones they refuse to leave." Think about it. In the gym, growth only comes when the muscle tears. In business, growth only comes when you risk failure. In relationships, growth only comes when you open yourself up to being vulnerable. If you stay comfortable, you stay weak. And if you stay weak, you stay stuck. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. Where's comfort been quietly killing my potential? Let's go deeper. Sometimes, it's not just habits holding us back. It's the beliefs we carry, belief planted in us since childhood. I'm not smart enough. People like me don't succeed. It's too late for me. I'll never have the discipline. Sound familiar? Here's the harsh truth. Beliefs are cages disguised as facts. Take this example. In the U.S., countless entrepreneurs dropped out of college, worked minimum wage jobs, and were told they'd never make it. Yet they became multimillionaires, not because the world suddenly became easy, but because they destroyed the belief that they weren't good enough. Limiting beliefs live inside your head like uninvited tenants. They whisper every time you want to take a risk. They scream every time you want to grow. If you don't shatter them, they will chain you for life. Practical step. Write down every limiting belief you've been carrying. Then destroy it. Burn it. Rip it apart. Say out loud, "This is not who I'm anymore." White right pointing backhand index reflection question. Which belief is holding me hostage, and what will I replace it with? Now we reach a brutal step, destroying the mask you show the world. We live in a culture obsessed with appearances. Instagram is full of perfect smiles, dream vacations, luxury cars. But behind the mask, many people are drowning in debt, broken relationships, and silent depression. We wear masks to protect ourselves. The mask of I'm fine. The mask of I've got it all together. The mask of success. But masks are heavy. They suffocate. And the longer you wear them, the further you drift from your true self. Here's the truth. You cannot build a new you until you destroy the fake one. You can't keep pretending to be someone else while trying to find yourself. White right pointing backhand index reflection exercise. Stand in front of a mirror. Ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? That raw answer, that's a person you need to rebuild. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. What mask have I been hiding behind, and am I brave enough to shatter it? Habits are the building blocks of your destiny. Right now, who you are is nothing more than the sum of your habits. If you spend hours scrolling social media every night, you're building a distracted version of yourself. If you constantly eat fast food, you're building a weaker, slower version of yourself. If you procrastinate daily, you're building a future filled with regret. But here's the empowering part. You can also destroy these habits to rebuild stronger ones. Research from Duke University shows that nearly 45% of our daily actions are automatic habits. That means almost half of your life is running on autopilot. If you don't destroy the autopilot, you'll live the same day over and over again until years disappear. For example, think of someone who decides to swap late-night scrolling for 30 minutes of reading each night. That one change could completely shift their mindset in a year. Destroy the habit that kills time, and you rebuild the habit that creates wisdom. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. Which one toxic habit, if I destroyed it today, would unlock the most growth for me tomorrow? We live in a society addicted to numbing pain. Pills, alcohol, endless entertainment. It's all designed to distract us from the discomfort we don't want to face. But here's the truth. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the sculptor. Think of the gym. Muscles don't grow unless they tear first. Think of therapy. Healing doesn't happen unless you open the wounds and confront them. Think of life. Growth never arrives without discomfort. In the U.S., millions mask their pain instead of facing it. That's why depression, anxiety, and addiction rates are skyrocketing. But if you want to build the real you must let the old version of you suffer. You must let it burn. Follow a practical step. Instead of running from pain, lean into it. Write down your deepest fear. Sit with it. Ask, what is this pain trying to teach me? White right pointing backhand index reflection question. Am I willing to embrace pain as my teacher instead of hiding from it as my enemy? Everyone fears rock bottom. Losing the job, losing the relationship, running out of money, feeling completely alone. But rock bottom isn't just the end, it's also the beginning. The truth is, rock bottom strips away everything fake. It removes your ego, your excuses, and your masks. It forces you to face yourself with no distractions. And in that silence, transformation begins. Fire story example. Many U.S. success stories begin at rock bottom. Steve Harvey lived in his car for years before becoming a household name. J.K. Rowling was on welfare before Harry Potter. Tyler Perry was homeless before he built an empire. They didn't rebuild because life was easy. They rebuilt because rock bottom destroyed the old them and forced them to rise as someone new. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. If I hit rock bottom, would I crumble or would I use it as my rebirth? Fear is the most powerful prison humans live in. And most of the time, it's not even real. It's imagined. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of starting too late. But here's the secret. Fear shrinks when you walk toward it. For example, public speaking is the #1 fear in the U.S., more than death. But the moment someone gets on stage and speaks once, the fear begins to lose its power. The more they face it, the smaller it becomes. Fear only controls you if you feed it. Stop feeding fear and start feeding courage. Practical step. Write down the one fear you've been avoiding. Do something small today that pushes you closer to it. If you're afraid of rejection, start a conversation with a stranger. If you're afraid of failure, launch the project anyway. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. What fear have I allowed to chain me, and how can I take the first step to break it? Destruction is not the end, it's the birth of something new. Just like a phoenix rising from ashes, you are not meant to stay destroyed. You are meant to rebuild, stronger, sharper, and wiser. When you strip away the old you, your toxic habits, limiting beliefs, and fears, you create space for the new version of yourself to rise. For example, think of someone who battled obesity for years, finally destroyed their old lifestyle, and committed to fitness. Within a year, they didn't just change their body, they changed their identity. This isn't just about change, it's about rebirth. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. Am I willing to let go of who I was, so I can finally meet who I'm meant to be? Here's the truth. Transformation isn't only about actions, it's about identity. If you see yourself as lazy, you will act lazy. If you see yourself as unworthy, you will sabotage every opportunity. Destroying yourself means destroying the old identity that no longer serves you. Then, consciously rebuilding a new one. 5 practical steps. Speak affirmations daily. I am disciplined. I am capable. I am resilient. Surround yourself with people who mirror the new you, not the old. Create rituals that align with your new identity. Example, wake up early, journal, exercise, practice gratitude. Remember, your actions follow your identity. Change who you believe you are, and your actions will naturally shift. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. What old identity must I bury today to step into my true self? Motivation may start the journey, but discipline sustains it. Anyone can feel motivated for a week, but discipline is what carries you for decades. Discipline is waking up when the alarm rings. Discipline is saying no to the easy pleasure in exchange for long-term gain. Discipline is keeping your promises to yourself. For example, U.S. Navy SEAL David Goggins rebuilt his life through extreme discipline, turning pain into power, weakness into unbreakable strength. Here's the hard truth. Without discipline, destruction is wasted. You'll rebuild the same weak foundation and collapse again. But with discipline, every day becomes a brick in the empire of your new self. White right pointing backhand index reflection question. Am I willing to be disciplined even when I don't feel like it? This is a final step, stepping fully into the new version of you. You've destroyed the old habits. You've faced pain and fear. You've risen from rock bottom. You've rebuilt your identity. You've forged discipline. Now, it's time to walk forward. Fire visual metaphor. Imagine standing in front of two doors. One door leads back to your old self, comfortable but unfulfilled. The other leads into your new self, scary, uncertain, but filled with possibility. Which one will you choose? Your past does not define you. Your failures do not define you. What defines you is your decision, today, right now, to walk into the life you are building. White right pointing backhand index final reflection question. Will I keep living as a person I once was, or will I finally become the person I was born to be?